Hello and welcome! This video is well overdue because I'm lazy as it turns out, and Destiny 2 has been out for over a week at this point on console. Basically, I'm going to ramble for a bit on my thoughts on Destiny 2 and doing a bit of a comparison to Destiny 1. If that's not your thing, then you can at least watch me smash and get smashed in the Xbox and PC closed and open beta. So sit back and enjoy! So, first off, if you don't know what Destiny is, then where have you been for the last 3 years? It started on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3 and PS4 at initial release, and we got a couple of expansions, and then the Rise of Iron sort of brought that into the new age with just current gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, or Xbone as some people like to call it. But Destiny 2's release, it's what they're doing, it's interesting. I love it, but it's weird. So even the current gen consoles, the Xbox One X that's coming out later, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, and the just regular PS4, like they've got the hardware to run it at incredible frame rates and resolution, and they can push 4K, 60 FPS, no problems, but for some reason they've designed it not to be like that. Bungie is releasing on consoles as being locked at 30 FPS and not at 4K, which is weird. Don't know why they're doing that. But on PC, you are going to be able to do 4K and unlocked frame rates, which is fantastic. I am a little bit biased because hashtag PCMR, and I have already purchased it for PC. And I've got a beast of a computer, and it really makes it easy to create content if I can record natively on my PC rather than going through a capture card. It just makes it more flexible in terms of what I can capture. So there are two aspects to Destiny, or any video game for that matter, in terms of how we as a player experience it. First off, you've got the narrative, and I'll get to that in a little bit, and that's sort of that's what a lot of people tend to pick on in Destiny, and the other part is the gameplay. Now, the gameplay is what Destiny is built around. It's something that you can always come back to, and it's just so easy to just slip into. It's like an old pair of shoes. If you want to learn more about that, then click the card just up here. But basically, in a nutshell, the gameplay of Destiny, it's the meat and bones of the game. It's the gunplay is just fantastic. It's well designed. It's just so good what they've done. They've taken a brilliant gunplay system and made it almost perfect. There are a few niggling things that could maybe be adjusted, but they've done so well. Now, the other aspect is the narrative. And the narrative of Destiny has always been fairly lacking. It always falls flat. And I mean, extra credits, they do another amazing video on bad writing pitfalls. Essentially, you either got like throwaway lines from the Ghost, or basically empty, meaningless lines of dialogue from the Ghost. He's basically the narrator, essentially. He's the one with all the character in the game. You also have, you know, a couple of people in the tower, you've got the speaker, etc. But in Destiny 1, it just feels kind of hollow. There's not much narrative there. It's a little bit empty. But from what I've seen in Destiny 2, we're still a silent protagonist, but it seems like we're getting a lot more characterization, a lot more personality from different characters in the world, which is really critical to moving the story along. Like we had the Queen of the Reef, and we had, you know, other people calling you over the comms, but there was no one really interacting with you apart from the stranger, and never in any sort of gameplay way. In the closed beta, we get to see in-world, in combat, Ikora Rey, Cade 6, and even this guy. In the closed beta of Destiny, in the story section that we got to play, you get to see the three main characters in the tower. You get to see Cade 6 and Ikora Rey, and it's just incredible. You can see them right there in front of you in combat. It's very different. And it gets me thinking that why they force you out of the tower and out of the city, out of that safe zone, is so that they had a lot more freedom in writing opportunities. They got sort of, it makes me think that maybe they got stuck in a rut, and at least creatively speaking, and they didn't know how to sort of get out of that. So they moved the social area from being in this safe walled city area outside of it to the farm, to this new social space. So it makes me think that they're going for a lot, that they're trying to really branch out and step outside their comfort zone in order to really change up how they're delivering narrative and story and plot to us, which is really cool. There's a few theories out there that indicate maybe the stranger may not return, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the narrative. Now, onto the gameplay. Oh, the Destiny's gameplay is just on point. As an FPS, you can come in as a hardcore player and do the raids or the strikes, or even Prison of Elders, or you know, some of the Crucible gameplay elements, and just play that to death, and you never get tired of it. At least in my experience, you don't. Or you can come in as a casual, and it's almost the same experience. You can do PvP if you want to, you can do PvE, you can match up with people, or just play by yourself. There's so much freedom within the bounds of the FPS environment that Bungie has created, that just works well together no matter what mood you're in. And again, as I said before, it's really quite incredible. They built this amazing FPS system with loot drops and ADS, and just the gunplay feels so good, and it's so balanced. They've had a lot of time to learn about all of this, of course, but they've still created an amazing feeling game. The moment to moment, you just want to keep playing it over and over and over. You never want to stop. But you can still get, you know, a really small, tight chunk of gameplay in for 20 minutes if you wanted to, or even 15 minutes if that's all you've got time for. But, you know, if you've got all your friends together and you play all the time, you can go for a raid and just bash it out if you wanted to. So Destiny really has all those elements available to it. It felt almost perfect as it was. And yet, the moment I stepped into Destiny 2 and just fired off the weapons, it's a huge improvement. It's a big step. You notice it immediately. So Bungie has really had 3 years of experience working with these new systems, like the loot and the different weapon categories and all these sort of things that they had to deal with, that they never had to deal with before with games like Halo and Marathon, etc. way back in the day. So they've taken all that experience and they've used it very effectively. So one of the most notable things is the change up in the weapon system. So we used to have the primary, the special, and the heavy, which if you didn't know about those, then I'll probably do a video on that later. Just let me know down in the comments if you want me to do a video on that. But now we've got kinetic energy and power weapons. Power weapons, as far as I can tell, are basically synonymous with heavy weapons. And, you know, that's the category for, you know, your rocket launchers, your heavy machine guns, your swords, etc. But the kinetic and energy categories are really a bit of a switch up. So now you can, now the categories are based on how the weapon feels to use rather than being based on how much damage and what its stats are. So now you can get an auto rifle that's a kinetic weapon and just feels really punchy. It's hitting hard and it's doing all its damage from, you know, a metal slug or some sort of projectile that's hitting and impacting an enemy. It feels really good. It feels like it's doing that. You know, the sound effects, the haptic feedback, everything they've done is tweaked it to make it feel just a little bit better. And it's very noticeable the first time you play if you've come from Destiny 1. You can tell straight away. Okay, so primary, whatever that means in this, primary weapon, this is me holding the trigger. So it feels really good. It feels like a heavy version of an auto rifle. Like it has a serious kick to it, but it doesn't actually recoil, like fling the gun barrel upwards. It's just like kick back with each shot, and it feels like it's really hitting hard. That's really, really nice. But I can also, if I want to, just fire single shots very easily without firing like even 2 shots by accident. which is good. And this guy, that's just like full auto. Oh wow, so it like ricochets on occasion. Every now and then it'll ricochet a shot. Okay, and then can I fire single shots? Every now and then it wants to fire a second shot, so it's not entirely perfect on this one. What about the heavy? Ah, so the heavy is a sniper. Ooh, that's got a good lot of zoom. That looks really nice. But you can also get an auto rifle, or, you know, hand cannon for that matter, that is also available as an energy weapon type. So it's doing almost all or all of its damage through either void, arc, or solar damage. And they feel a little bit different, but they're still going to be very important in certain use cases. So, for example, you've got an enemy that's got tons of shields. You know, you quickly pull out your energy weapon, just drop his shields, maybe finish him off with that. But it feels right. It feels just right. It feels like they've, you know, they realized, hey, we've done something really well, but if we redesign the system completely in this way, if we reconfigured it, it's gonna feel way better. And it really feels like they've hit that perfectly in Destiny 2. They've hit that nail straight on the head, and it's incredible. It's a great experience to play it. So guys, those are my initial thoughts on Destiny 2. I hope you've enjoyed. However, guys, I am not yet finished with Destiny 1. Mick Pone and I are attempting to complete all of the Destiny 1 raids before the PC release date, and we're doing that on the weekend. So Saturday, sort of starting around roughly Saturday 7 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, but we're also open to doing it on Sundays as well. Just depends on when people are available. And so we're reaching out to you guys to give us a hand. We really, really need help because we're terrible at the raids. Now, if you do want to give us a hand, there are 3 criteria that you need to meet. Number 1, you got to have Destiny on the Xbox. Number 2, you got to be on the Discord server, the Bonfire. Link is down below in the description. Number 3, you got to be available at the right time, and that's something we'll sort of work on as we get more people available to help us out with this. So, if you are available and you do want to help, then please jump on the Discord server and just let us know. Just @mention us to death, please. We want to do this. That is going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. I really hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, then be sure to smash that like button. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below, letting me know what you're most excited for in Destiny 2. You know, what's really getting you hyped for Destiny. Or even something that you feel it's lacking, if there's anything missing from the game, something that you think could improve it, perhaps. Or even if you want to help out with the weekend raids, let me know down below in the comments. Please do that. Links to my social media are down in the description. And make sure you subscribe for more gaming, creativity, shenanigans, and Destiny. And I will see you next time.